Good morning. It is Monday again. And here I am again. Sorry I have not been, I didn't post last week. I kind of did every other week for a little bit. Last week I actually did make a video. And it was, I was so unbelievably tired. And it was just, I couldn't even stand watching myself. It was so like rambly and ridiculous that I didn't even post it. Which a lot of my videos are rambly, but it just didn't even have a point. I was so tired, which I mean, that's like my life, but anyway. So, sorry that I haven't been the most consistent, but life, I have to prioritize stuff, and sometimes this just doesn't happen. But on that note, I do have exciting news that I have recorded a few other videos like I used to do. If you search my channel at all, I have like canning videos and some cooking videos. And some homestead videos. I had made a few of those. Just have to work on the editing part and get those out. So that's cool. I'm hoping that I can get back into a decent rhythm. Maybe one of those a week would be nice. We'll see. I've had a few more subscribers, and so I want to be a little bit more consistent with this. But life, the hardest part for me is the editing. I don't like it, to be honest. It's not my favorite part at all. It takes a little time to get that editing done. So anyway, yay! At least I got it recorded, so now I have to do is edit it. Today it is rainy here. It might be a little loud in the background while the birds are in the barn. It's so loud. I gotta get the kids out here, the pellet gun, take care of these. But it's also raining. It's actually pretty bucket. It's like sprinkling, right now, but when you're in the barn, it always seems louder. Sounds like it's pouring. Alright, let me look at my bucket. So I hope you can hear me. I will do my best to edit the volume. For whatever reason, this phone's volume is weird, and someday, maybe I can find a good deal or afford like one of those microphones, that would be nice, and it would be very consistent volume, but until then, I will just do my best to edit it and make it better. The microphone would help then, I think, eliminate the background noise, all the birds. So, speaking of birds, we did get our last batch, finally, of meat chicks this week. So, currently we have 200 meat chicks at different stages. Actually, a few less, because we've lost a couple. Really not many at all, but you know what I mean? It's not quite 200, but I don't know what the number is. Probably like 194 or something like that. Anyway, so we have one batch out on the chicken tractor in the yard, and they're doing really good. We had one loss. Yesterday we had just one weird loss, but it's been rainy. Yay, which is good. We need the rain so terribly bad. It's been windy, and so we get rain or I water, and then it's windy, and then it just evaporates everything, I feel like we take, 2 steps forward and 5 steps back as far as water, moisture. So, but the rain doesn't really help the chicks much. They're sheltered, but they still get wet. So anyways, I think that might have contributed yesterday. I don't know. We had one that just randomly died. But, and then we have one, which I should have taken a video of it, and I'll see if it's still the same. I may put it on my Instagram or something, but yesterday Mike came in. So this is one of our oldest batch of meat chicks. So they're like 4 weeks old right now? 4, 5 weeks old? Anyway, brought it in and he's like, what is wrong with this chicken? And it looks like someone inflated it. Like no joke. Under the skin, it is like a balloon. It's the craziest looking thing. And we're like, oh no. Like, did it have some sort of like disease or what is going on? It eats fine and acts normal, but it's like a balloon. Oh my goodness. So of course I went to good old Google and looked it up, and it happens. It's not fatal. Usually it happens from a sickness or a trauma, and they have some sort of air sacs, and the air sac gets burst and causes air under the skin. And they said you can like take a syringe needle, it's a hollow needle, and poke it in there and let the air escape. But that spot will have more of a chance of infection, right? You know, you've got an open wound, even if it's little, and especially with them being out in the tractor. You know, I think there'd be a higher chance, I don't know, of infection. Or you just let it go and it'll reabsorb. But it's so weird. So I'll try, see if I can take a video of it today. It looks creepy. It just looks like the thing's gonna float away because it's full of air. So weird. But I was glad to know that we aren't like, you know, some like rare contagious thing that we're gonna have to like quarantine or something. And speaking of Apple, we are about a month away from drying her up, which is crazy. Part of me is like, oh, yay, a break. Part of me is sad because we absolutely detest going back to regular milk. It's gross, to tell you the truth. It's just gross. And Cinnamon, get. Sorry. Okay, so we have our dog does very good at keeping the horses out of the barn. They have their hay out there, and the cows have their hay in here. Tank is in here eating his bull. He's in here eating it. But the horses try to get in, and then they'll kick the cows or Tank off of their hay. So Lincoln is very good at keeping them out. He knows, which is great. But then, you know, you hear him barking. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, we hate store-bought milk. Like, bleh, that's gross. We have found that I think it's Organic Valley whole milk is about as similar to Apple's milk as we've found that we can afford. Like, there's good A2 whole milk out there, but it's like $10 a half a gallon, and I'm like, especially with the prices. Don't even get me started on gas prices and prices of everything, and how, oh my gosh, how is the working class supposed to make this? Anyways, so not looking forward to have to buy milk again, but it is going to be nice to have a little bit of a break. And yeah, so that'll be for like 2 months. Won't be too terrible. But she's doing really good. She's looking great. She's doing great, knock on wood. Although she was 7 months along when she lost her last calf, and she is 6 months along right now. So, you know, one of those, like, I'm going to hold my breath until we get past that stage. I'll probably hold my breath until calving, right? So this weekend was interesting. Mike and the boys went and did a survival camping. They love watching shows like Alone. You've seen that on, I don't know, Amazon Prime or something. It's where these people go and they, you know, like have to survive, like really, really, really survive alone out in the wilderness, and really, really fun to watch. They love that type of stuff. So, for a while now, they've been planning on doing this. It was kind of an incentive thing at the end of the school year. If they, you know, really did good, we'd Dad would take them and do this. And my parents have a bunch of land, and my grandma has a bunch of land right up next to it. So they decided they would go and do that this past weekend. And the week before, my kids, the whole week were up north with my parents on a fishing trip. So they left Saturday, came home Friday, and then Friday when Mike got home, they left again to do survival camping. So my boys are wiped, absolutely, completely drained, tired. Last night they're like, why did I have to go to bed early? I'm like, I don't want to deal with you tomorrow if you don't go to bed early. You guys are going to be awful. But unfortunately, it was a rainy weekend. It wasn't terrible Saturday, I guess. There was a little bit of rain, but it was cloudy, so it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it was kind of good weather, but it was cloudy, which meant there wasn't any squirrels, much for squirrels or rabbits to shoot to eat, type of thing. And there's a pond there, but it's a stagnant water pond, which is not, not healthy to drink. It's disgusting, gross water, okay, I should back up. They didn't take any, they took one, bottle, I think Mike found a soda bottle or a lemonade bottle or something. Took brown rice, raw, uncooked brown rice. Oh, the rain's picking up. I hope you can hear me. And that was it. They didn't take any water. They didn't take anything for food. They were going to forage and hunt for anything. So the water situation, they have those filter things that you can buy to, make water potable. And they took those, but then across the road, it's only 400 yards away, their neighbors, which they have permission to do this, have an artesian well. So they walked over there, and they had some containers, and they filled up with water from the artesian well, and they were able to get one rabbit and cook that. But then my kids know about, you can eat dandelions, you can eat nettle, you can eat plantain. There's no berries or anything out right now. It's too early. So they did. My oldest son made a salad of plantain and dandelions and clovers, the clover heads, and I think the clover leaves too. And what else did he use? Oh, and they found some random sunflowers in the bottom of their backpack. Sunflower seeds. Goodness knows how old those were, and so he shelled all those and used the sunflower seeds for their salad. I just think it's so cute. And then they made up the rabbit. They used a spit, made a spit, put it over the fire, cooked up the rabbit, and they took nettle and boiled it. So I kind of gave them a crash course on how to eat some of these things. Nettle and boiled it, and they're like, oh, it tastes like spinach. And they did that. They did drive to a local lake, not too far away, 10 minutes away, to try to fish, but they couldn't use a fishing pole. So they brought fishing line, and they brought a couple of hooks, just regular hooks. No bait, no fishing poles. So like I said, they wanted to do this as much survival as they could, on their own, foraging, all that stuff. So they did. They went and fished, and I guess there was a bunch of people there, and they were looking at them all as they're using sticks as their poles and chunks of wood as their bobbers. And one guy was he caught a really nice bass pretty close to him. He's like, do you want this? I'm sure he was you poor people, you can't even afford, you just have a stick, or, whatever. I just chuckled while they were talking about that. But I guess my husband did say, no, we are doing a survival thing. Like, he kind of explained himself, like, oh, thank goodness. Not that, shouldn't care what other people think, right? Anyway, so they caught, like, I guess they caught a perch, like, this big, I can't even see, a little tiny, a few inches, just a tiny, tiny perch, and they caught one decent fish, so they shared that, and then they ended up eating that with the rice, I think it was, and, so they're happy that they brought that rice, and they brought, took 2 tarps, and, like, 2 tarps, and they took, an axe, and they took some survival books that we have, first aid survival and medicinal, or not medicinal, edible plants, and regular survival books, and made an open A-frame tent. They did take sleeping bags, and it was cold. It got down to like 41 the one night, the first night. And my poor husband, he had the worst sleeping bag of all of them, and he's tall. It wasn't long enough for him, and oh gosh, it was funny hearing about it. So the worst part was the sleeping. He was uncomfortable. He's getting up there, and sleeping without a pillow and stuff isn't comfortable anymore. And he's not really getting up there. He's not that old. But, so they had a blast. But yesterday morning, it was like 7:30. I was at the sink cleaning up at 7:30 in the morning and getting ready for church. And here they come in the driveway. I'm like, oh, you called it quits, huh? Well, yesterday morning was like this morning. It just was raining and raining and raining and raining. And they're like, okay, we've had enough. So they said they learned a lot. They would like to do it again, but maybe in the fall when there's more stuff to forage. And it's just a little bit more. They said it was nice because there wasn't a lot of bugs. They said there wasn't, and they have mosquito bites all over their face. So I bet while they were sleeping, they were getting eaten alive. They just didn't realize it. Yeah. So I think that was cool. So Loretta and I had a little girls' weekend. I just think that's fun that they get to like learn those things, especially nowadays. Hold on. I'm almost done milking, but she's done with her cake. I just think it's so cool. Like I said, especially nowadays, it's good to have these things, this knowledge, know what kind of foods, what kind of plants you can eat, and how to prepare them. My kids already know how to hunt and how to prepare, that type of stuff. But still, like it's different when you're hungry and you're hunting, right? Like this is what you have to eat. Like if I want to eat, I need to get something. So I was nervous for them all week. I was so nervous, like, because there's wolves, there's bears, there's coyotes, there's badgers out there. So I made Mike bring his handgun. I was like, just in case. I knew they had like a 22 and they had a pellet gun, but still, it just made my mama nervous. And there were supposed to be like thunderstorms, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get struck by lightning. There wasn't any thunderstorms, they were fine. And plus they were like, a few minute walk to my parents or my grandma's, so if worst came to worst, they would do that. Anyway, so that was fun. Then on Saturday morning, while I'm here alone with Loretta, the dogs ran off. Like, Alice, our big Great Pyrenees, she was like growling and barking on Friday night, and I thought it just had, I got up and looked multiple times, didn't see anything, didn't notice anything. I thought she was just being protective because she knew that Loretta and I were home alone. It was just that Mike wasn't home, and she can be like that. Well, Saturday morning I let her out to go to the bathroom, and they like immediately took off. In the time that I let them out went to the bathroom, came back, and they were gone. Like, what the heck? And that's not normal. They wandered off, but it's not like normal to do that. Well, a little bit later, I see them running along our neighbors across the road, their field road. I saw them running into the woods, so I knew they were out there. But there was nothing I could do. I got in the van and tried to get over there fast enough. There was no way they could hear me. I tried to get over there fast enough, but I couldn't before they could get in the woods, and there was no way I couldn't get over there. Anyway, so I was driving around the country block trying to find them for hours, and couldn't find them. Finally went to Facebook and said, oh my gosh, has anyone seen them? And all of our neighbors know there are dogs. And long story short, someone picked them up. A concerned citizen picked them up. So I had to go and get them from the dog catcher. Luckily, they had just picked them up, and it didn't cost me anything. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to bail you guys out. And Lincoln is getting rabies and getting this rabies shot and getting fixed on Wednesday, like in 2 days. It was Saturday this happened, in a few days he's getting it. And what they need a rabies, proof of rabies to release your dog to. And I'm like, he's doing this on Wednesday. Luckily the guy was so nice and he was understandable, and he was like, yes, that's fine, just fax the proof once you get it, So, thank goodness. Dang dogs. I know that they were going after whatever they heard. Probably, I don't know if it was coyotes. Because we have coyotes around all the time. So I have like a hair in my back. Anyway. Always something, right? So, that was our fun weekend. And I highly recommend, if any of you are into like the survival camping, like do it. Do it for a day or two or whatever. And I don't know, if you can. Not everyone has the opportunity or the location that they can do that, but I think it was cool, and my boys would like to probably sleep all day today, but we have a chiropractic appointment this morning, so I'm going to have to wake them up. That's okay. And do a little bit of school. Even though we're done, we're still going, we're done, doing school for hours a day, right? I know. She wants to do that out. I still want them to, there's still stuff we need to get done. So we'll do probably a good hour today of school. So it's a rainy day, good day to have school, right? Anyway, I hope you all have a great week, and look for one of my videos. Probably on around Friday, I'll have one of the videos up. So I gotta get this one out of the stanchion and get on with my day. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.